Hey, we're doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Here's a headline from the Independent Sentinel. L.A. Mayor Bass plans an equitable, sustainable rebuild Palisades. Does sustainable mean that it's harder to burn down? I hope that's what it means.
How dare she get involved in that?
Wow, it's equitable and sustainable. Don't spoil us.
I feel like we should emancipate ourselves from them.
So here, according to this article, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass plans to hire an outside consultant, we already covered that, to rebuild the Palisades in a more equitable and environmentally sustainable way. Hopefully, so what does that mean to you, Elaine?
I think they need to fix our water problem. They need to stick to the basics. They're just so scatterbrained, a whole bunch of them. First of all, they've taken all the money. Our money, we don't have any money. So it doesn't matter what she does. She has no money. She's that Los Angeles city mayor. She is not the governor, and she is also not federally funded. The state is federally funded. And Trump already said, no money for you guys unless you do two things, turn the water back on and have voter ID. And voter ID, she would not be the mayor. If we have voter ID, she would not be the mayor.
So he would have got recalled if he had.
And he would have got recalled. Thank you very much. And he would have got. And Gavin Newsom would have got. There's 2 million signatures.
So you know what that is? That's the mafia will be undone because the four families, D'Alessandro, that's Pelosi's maiden name, the Jerry Brown family, the Gettys, and the Newsoms. Those are the four families that are ruled for 80 years. And so it's just like old timey Tammany Hall kind of crap. And so that's Trump's trying to crack their mafia. With the voter ID thing, and they don't want that.
To sign up. I encourage everyone to sign up on the opt-in for FEMA, for the cleanup. I think everybody should do it because it's going to put an intense amount of pressure on the federal money because they're going to see how many people need help. People are afraid, they don't want to get screwed over by the government, but you can opt out by the 1st of March. If everyone opts in the next 30 days, there'll be so many people opting in that the government that's federal that has to provide this money will realize, oh my gosh, $1.2 billion isn't even going to come close. We got to opt in. Opt in. It's just like all it is waving a white flag saying we need help. We're not going to get it from our state. Federally, we need it. You need to opt in. You can go on the site and ask for federal help. It's the FEMA cleanup and just opt in. You can always get out from underneath it. But at least it sends that flag and it says we really need help.
So when you opt in, are you giving up some kind of rights or something? What does that mean?
Not at all. No, it feels a little, look, for anybody who's been, living in Los Angeles and not been happy with our management, every single thing they ask you to do is scary because you don't trust anyone. But the reality is money is going to be only allocated federally based on how many people need it. So if you don't ask for it, they're not going to allocate it. So you have to opt in. You're jumping the Rubicon when you're getting away from the state when you opt in.
Okay.
Okay. You can get out. But you can just say, I changed my mind. It's taking too long. I don't like it. And you can opt out. But it lets the government federally understand how much funds they need to put aside because there's not enough. We need $5 billion for cleanup. There's too much.
$5 billion just tell them?
Yeah.
What's that?
Gavin will pass the information along.
I don't know if Gavin can count either. I mean, just do the structure count,
Well, we're going to have you can have a smart city because that was what the purpose of the LA Smart Flyer.
How about a whiteboard and a little pointer, and we can explain how much it's going to cost to clean it up?
Well, I mean, how much they spend cleaning up homelessness, and then the money's gone, and the homelessness is worse than ever.
How about, what is that, 30-some thousand fires were started by homeless people in 23 and 24?
Well, they need jobs.
30,000 fires were started by homeless people, like between 23 and 24 or something. It's an insane amount.
Well, Gavin Newsom has been saying since he got into politics in 2008 that he's going to fix homelessness. He's been saying that now for close to 20 years.
Yeah. It works. It's bigger than ever now. Homelessness is breaking down, but now he's fixed it to where it's sustainably homeless.
Well, he spent $28 billion getting more homeless people.
Yeah.
We have a lot now.
Long-term homelessness the dream is here.
And now we don't have a lot of houses because the homeless people got rid of all the houses.
So now you are from the Palisades. You blame Karen Bass and Newsom. Do you?
I definitely blame Newsom. I blame what I can tell you, and living in California for almost 30 years, is that the environmentalist idea wasn't a bad idea when it started. I'm a Democrat just like you are, Jimmy. I've been a Democrat most of my life. But, at the end of the day, some things do run off the track. They do run off. And if you don't trim your forests and you're not a good steward to your forests, eventually you're going to have forest fires. So we haven't done that in years, and they've blocked every reasonable way for urban forestry and other forestry management companies to be able to clear brush. That's an environmental thing that's been,
Yeah, they were trying to protect an endangered brush, and then guess what happens when there's a fire? It all goes away anyway. It all gets burned. So
it sounds like it was fake. It was a fake thing to make sure there'd be a lot of brush, is what it sounds like to me.
Well, it's protecting environmentalists and their ideas, and then all of those people are the people that vote for guys like Gavin Newsom. So Gavin Newsom doesn't want to go back and say, hey, I know I said this, but it was a really bad idea because we're going to have these huge forest fires. We need to cut tree lines. We need to clean the forest. Then all the environmentalists get all crazy, and you get all these lobbies. And I feel like if you don't common sense manage and take care of the basics. I mean, what's property tax for, right? The tranches are schools, fire and police, and road management. That's what property tax is for. If you drive up to a home that there's no road, or your schools are burned down, or you don't have any police defunding the police, you go and you raise property taxes and you create a mansion tax. You're not providing the basic services for the fees that you're collecting, is my point. And I mean, they should get rid of that mansion tax right now. That's Los Angeles City. You know what that would do? That would encourage people to move real estate, to sell, which would make homes open for people who don't have homes. It would put an influx of money into Los Angeles. I mean, if Gavin Newsom wants to be helpful, he should stand at a podium and say, we are going to put a freeze on this mansion tax so that we can create $1 trillion worth of revenue in the next year that we can spin back into rebuilding. Do something productive. Stop charging everybody. People don't want to move or sell their real estate. They completely torpedoed the real estate market in California. They ruined it. And on top of it, it's our Wall Street. California's real estate is our Wall Street. If you bring that to its heels, which they did, we have no money. They raised no money for homeless people because all the people that were above 5 million and above 10 million, guess what? They spoke up. They said, you know what? Pound sand, we're not selling. So the whole market froze. Escrow companies out of business, title companies out of business, all the real estate, nobody can move anywhere, anytime. And interest rates are high. If you have a low interest rate, you don't do anything. If they got rid of that, the whole market would start up again, and it would move at a rapid pace, and it would create momentum. It would move things and issue all the permits that are 10 years old tomorrow morning. If there's a permit that's been issued and it's past the baseline hillside ordinance, just hand them out. And then all the people in the last 10 years that bought or spent money, those people will start up the rebuild because they know how much it cost. They're ready. They have money. And once you start it and you get momentum's hard to beat. The decision-making process at the gubernatorial level, is that the right word? Did I say it right? At that level is completely stifled by the lobbyists that put them into office. They are stuck. They are corroded. They are completely corroded. They're like every time you touch something on them, it just falls off like a rotten bolt. They can't. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just going on.
He's not in charge. He's a puppet like all these young hot leaders. He's just the face and the hair, not the brains of it. That's for sure.
So now there's this petition. Well, she's done a poll. They done a poll, and people blame Karen Bass for the wildfire failures, and voters want new leadership. So. I'll read you what it says. It says, recent polling was conducted by pollster David Wolfson of likely voters in Los Angeles County and LA County over January 19th to the 22nd. Notably, most LA City voters disapprove of the job Mayor Bass is doing in handling the fires by a 17-point margin. Governor Newsom is looked on more favorably, with LA County and city voters showing no appetite to recall him. In a simulated general election in 2026 ballot of likely LA City voters, Rick Caruso versus Karen Bass for mayor, Caruso is now beating Bass by 7 points. And so I'll give you a bigger look at it. Do you approve or disapprove of how Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is handling the wildfires in Los Angeles? 54 disapprove, 37 approve. I'm going to guess those are the people whose houses did not burn down. And then almost 10% don't know. So 64% disapprove or aren't sure of Karen Bass. Now, would you support her being recalled?
1,000%. But what people don't understand on the recall, never mind that it costs $1 million to do it. You got to pay for the signatures, 350,000 signatures, $6 a signature, blah, blah, blah. You can do the math. What's really critical, which people don't tell you, is if you recall her, City Council decides who the new mayor is.
Oh.
That's BS.
Okay.
That's another new little...
It's not. There's not an emergency election or anything?
No. There used to be. They took it away.
Okay.
They screwed us again. They got us again.
I don't know what's the matter with these people, but don't they understand that lesbians of color can't do things wrong? And if you think so, you're a racist.
Yeah.
Everybody's a racist, apparently.
Mayor Chocolate Rain, I'm a big fan of.
So here's...
this is brutal.
Here's one more. In 2026 election for Los Angeles mayor, if it were held today, whom would you most likely cast your vote? If you're still undecided who to vote for, please select. So 21% are undecided, 43% would go Caruso, and only 36% would go for Karen Bass.
Who is that 36%?
Who are those people?
Well, I mean, what's her, Tracy Parks? She's our councilwoman.
Uh-huh.
She just came out today. There's Karen Bass kind of caved and said everyone could go back into the Palisades, and she's sitting there saying, no, that's a really bad idea. We're not ready for anyone to come back in. It's the city council. It's all the people all the big deep blue Democrats that vote, and they support these. Let everybody go up there. Let them see it.
I
You want to
agree.
hide it?
Rather than follow predictable partisan patterns, voters in LA are fed up with failures and are demanding more competence from their elected officials, said Owen Brennan, president of Madison McQueen. Clearly, there is an opportunity for new leadership, new ideas, and new direction for Los Angeles. Across LA County, most voters say fire hydrants running dry should be cause for political leaders to lose their jobs. Voters also blamed one-party rule for the lack of sufficient water storage. In the poll, 43% of likely voters would consider Republican leadership in Los Angeles County in the future, significantly outperforming Republican Party registration or predicted electorate turnout. So this is turning people to Republicans.
I have a whole diatribe about that too, if you want to get into it.
Yeah, go ahead. What is your diatribe about that? Well, let me just show one more thing.
Yeah, you got to show that.
Given everything you know, would you now consider Republican leadership in LA County and or City of Los Angeles? 46% say no, 43% say yes, and 11% are unsure. So 54% are either for Republican leadership in Los Angeles or aren't sure. Wow.
Now the orange part, that represents they're still on fire?
These are And here's one more.
Yes, Kurt, we're still on fire.
So consider Republican leadership. And this was the Republican turnout.
This is a bummer.
So that was the Republican. So this is what they predict would be the Republican turnout in 26. But right now, these are the people considering it. And current LA, this is the current registered Republicans in LA County. But here's the amount of people who are considering. So that's a big deal. So what's your rant? Go ahead. Tell me.
All right. So I have this idea. So think of like tug of war. Have you ever played tug of war?
Yeah.
All right. So in tug of war, if there's 1,000 people on the other side and there's 10, then it's not tug of war.
Right.
So my idea is that you take like half of the people that are blue and put them on the red side. Just register because my fantasy in my head is all those people up in Sacramento, they check who's registered. And if that Republican ticker goes up and up and up and up, it's just like opting in. You don't have to vote Republican. You have to register Republican because now you're evening the tug of war. Now you've got just as many Republicans that are loud and proud as you do Democrats. Clearly, 43% of our state is Republican. The problem is they're not registered to vote. And whether you vote Republican or not, what it forces to have happen is it has Republicans and Democrats alike come to the table to run for office that are qualified. Right now, the real reality is we don't have Republican candidates in California because the general consensus is a Republican cannot win.
Right.
So the best possible people, the best minds that could run this state, which is the 5th largest economy in the world, it is not a small feat. Very few people can manage that, are not running in California. More importantly, because we have a Republican country at the moment, we are left out of the conversation. It's like we're not even part of this grand election that's happened. So we have to register red just so we can have a voice. And I think if everybody registers red, we make up that gap, we even that tightrope so that we can play tug of war fairly, we will get better candidates running. And guys like Newsom won't win unless they change their narrative and they start working for the people that put them into office.
Well, it's quite a dream that you'll get a governor in California that will work for the people. That is quite a dream. Or a mayor in Los Angeles. Because,
or even water in a fire hydrant.
Well, I'm going to die trying.
Yeah. But, you know, it's just like, you know, Karen Bass became mayor not because she has political talent or because people believe in her. It's because it's a one-party state, one-party system, and she just knew how to navigate the party. And so the party put her in that position.
Grooming.
Yeah. And the party, without the party support, she couldn't be mayor. So the party, it's all about the party.
That's why she was silent behind that door, because she's waiting for the party to come tell her what to say.
Zero leadership. He's
That's right.
Zero leadership. Zero ability to communicate. Just say something. Say, I'm sorry I wasn't here, but I'm here now and I'm going to, something.
She had 16 hours on that aircraft to figure out what she was going to say. And she lands, she can't say anything. She just does this.
It was, I thought
probably
maybe
hung over from a great wedding.
The Xanax hadn't worn off from the flight.
Yeah, must pop the Xanny.
And so what? So Elaine, what? So now, what do you? Two things. What do you think needs to happen? Because now they're getting ready for the Olympics, right? And by the way, they have a Jeffrey Epstein pal in charge of the Olympic Committee. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, he's also the chairman of Gavin's new fundraising thing.
Oh, no kidding.
My crazy brother sent it to me this morning. Thanks, Brian.
So the guy they have in charge of running the Olympics in Los Angeles, which is happening in 2028, that guy was a Jeffrey Epstein pal, and he's the head of Gavin Newsom's fundraising committee.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy. Here, want me to read it to you?
Yeah, read it to me.
My shoulders are wiggling.
Oh, boy, here we go. Let me see what.
This guy was friends with Epstein.
Let me make sure I got it right. So the group is I just was looking at this a minute ago. A lot of. It's called Rise LA is the name of it. Have you heard of it? Rise LA?
No.
That's what it's called. And I sent it to Jimmy. That's what I did. And it is Magic Johnson, Mark Walters, Casey Washerman, and they're selected to lead Rise LA. And then he sent me a follow-up picture with Epstein. Do you want to see the picture?
Yeah.
I have the whole bit of my brother. And they raised $100 million already. Birds of a feather. Everybody sticks together, you know.
Hey, we're doing stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Baltimore, Hartford, Connecticut, Syracuse, Atlantic City, Levittown, Cohoes, New York, and Providence, Rhode Island. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.